Hi, welcome to League Runner. This is a quick introduction to the platform, and we're going to be looking at it primarily from a host perspective today. So, if you are wanting to create your own league and invite people to join that league, then this is for you. Real quick on what this thing is, if you haven't heard of it before, it is Fantasy Sports League for runners. If you are familiar with fantasy football or hockey or anything like that, it's the same general concept. You're going to draft people onto your team, and as they run, you're going to get points for that. So the team with the most points at the end of the season, which is 3 months long, is the winner. The big difference between this and other platforms is instead of drafting professional athletes, you're going to be drafting your friends, people that you invite to your league. So we'll dive in here real quick. The first thing to do, of course, is sign up. All right, when you create an account, you're going to land on the league page. This is where everybody lands after they sign up. And the first thing you see is public leagues. So these are leagues that you or anybody else could join. Uh, Down here is where you'll create a league, and if you did want to make it a public league, you could click right here. If you want to do a private league, you'll do that here. Just give it any name that you want. And hit create, and you are done with creating the league. There are a few other steps, and we'll run through those real quick. We've already created the league. Next, we're going to invite people to the league. You need a minimum of 8, and you can have as many as you want. And then you have to set the draft date. You're going to have a manage option up here. So you'll want to click that. And the first thing you can do right here is, excuse me, start over. All right, so once you click manage, you will want to invite people to your league. So you scroll down here and you'll be sending invitations out to everyone that you want to invite. So that's just going to be their email. Once you hit send, receive an email. It's extremely simple. It'll have your name, your email in there. It'll say so and so has invited you to join such and such league. They'll accept and then do the same sign up thing that you just did, and then they'll be added, and that's it for them. Very simple process. Okay, so this is the landing page for a league that's a little more filled out. The first thing you might notice is there's a bunch of leagues right here. So this person has access to multiple leagues. They've been invited to other leagues that they've joined, so that you can manage multiple leagues and you can participate in other leagues that you don't manage. So now we'll go to manage league, and we've already sent the invitations. The next thing you have to do after sending invitations is set the draft date. Now you have two options. You can do a live interactive draft, which, if you're not familiar with fantasy sports, you have a live draft set at a certain time on a certain day where everybody joins into one virtual room, and we'll look at that in a second, to perform a draft. And you take turns picking who you want to be on your team. So that's really exciting. It's usually a social event. You can do it at somebody's house or at a bar, or you can do it virtually. But those are a lot of fun. The other option, if you don't want to do that, is you can auto assign athletes. So no draft, the system will just auto assign everybody to a team. So that's the quick and easy way to do it. We'll look at setting a draft. So on this screen, we are going to just move forward with salary generation. Salaries are a way for athletes to be ranked based on their expected performance. Now, again, this is automatic, so you don't have to do anything here. You can just click through and you'll kind of see what's happening once this loads up. The draft has been created. Now, we're looking at the draft room. It's not happening yet. We haven't started it yet. But when we go into the draft room, you can see that there are salaries here. These salaries are based on those automatic rankings. Now, everybody has a salary cap. So this is money that you have to spend on each of these runners, each of these athletes. So if you pick somebody who's going to get a whole bunch of miles, you know that they're going to run like crazy. That leaves you with less money for subsequent rounds. We're going to go through a number of rounds. There's going to be 24 picks. In this case, because it's an 8-man league, there's going to be 3 rounds and you're going to pick 3 players. So you have to think through, am I going to spend a whole bunch of money on a big time player, or am I going to even it out a little bit with middle of the road people? If you pick an expensive player, you'll still be able to pick 2 more players. You'll have to fill out your roster, but they'll be lower performing athletes. So that's it. When you hit start draft on draft day, it'll start running. Everybody gets 60 seconds per pick. There's an auto pick. So if somebody doesn't join, they don't feel like doing it, they just want to let the system pick for them, that's fine. The system will make those picks for them and just move on to the next person. Once all 3 rounds are finished, then everybody will have a team. And I'm going to hit start draft, and we'll skip ahead so you can see the results. But once I hit start draft, it'll start counting down for that first pick, and then it's going to go through each one. The moral of the story is you can just let this run by itself and it'll do everything. So people can be as interactive or hands-off as they want to be. You can see right there the first round completed, and the system did an auto pick for Scott's team. Then the system auto picked Christine Crocker and moved on to the next player. And that's about it. I'll come back in a second when this is complete. All right, we're coming in on the last pick, 10, 9, 8. And I wanted to come back in before it's complete because you're going to see, since nobody in this case made an actual pick, it's going to start auto picking for everybody. So we'll kind of fly back through. And you can also see here that, and this is possibly me is why it stopped there. It's going to go backwards in the second round. So it's a snake draft. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And at the end, the 8th person gets a second pick right away, and it goes backwards. Then back down to 1, and then back and forth like that until the end of the draft. Okay, so now it is going back through, and this is going to be our third and final round. It just finished the 24th pick, and our draft is complete. You can see down here each draft or each pick throughout the draft, who picked who. And then each player will, or each team owner will see this option so they can go and see their new team. So this team which would have been empty a second ago before the draft, now shows you who you picked for your team. And we're all done. The thing is to remember, I can imagine some really aggressive teams hopping up and going and running right now because the season has started. So at this point, you're all set. Start tracking miles and racking up points. That's it. Check out other videos and content on the site. Please give me feedback if you have any suggestions, problems, ideas for improvements. I'm all ears. Lots of opportunities for improvements and cool new features. Thanks. See you next time.